God, it's a cloud. Welcome back. Welcome back. You may not have seen our faces for a while, but we're back, baby. They're losing it. Podcast, YouTube, wherever this is, eh?
Yeah, wherever you're listening to us.
Watching
It's
us.
nice to be back. We've got so
It is.
much to say.
There was so much to say. That's part of the problem. We were just talking about what to say in this video. We were like, there are so many things to say.
There are, because there's so much going on, and the weight loss world has changed so much and is changing. And it's we Heidi and I were just saying, should we go kind of head in and head on to the wind and talk about how it does feel like history is repeating itself, and are we back? Where did the kind of weight loss world and the anti-diet culture kind of become one? And
Yeah.
it's a very confusing landscape out there. And one thing that I've always said, and I said this when Heidi came to me as a client to lose weight and then joined the team and became an amazing consultant herself, I have always felt that there is a huge part of paying it forward. I am still doing this job after this role after 11 years, because I am so passionate that if anybody is in the situation that I found myself in, having researched till the cows come home, and understanding it, and being so completely overwhelmed to a point of total paralysis, that overwhelm is such a dangerous place to be, and it's such an arresting place to be. And when the market has changed so much, that it's made you think that there is no other option, that we're all just being fed down this tunnel of
Yeah,
weight
it's
loss
kind of become the
medication.
one and only thing. It's touted or made you believe it's the one and only thing that works. It's the only thing that exists. We've kind of
And it's
forgot we have
eliminated,
options.
it's exactly that. And it's eliminated the health and well-being. It's eliminated any element, as far as I can see. And I'm working with lots of clients that are using Wegovy, Ozempic, and all of these things. But the element of the holistic person,
Yeah.
the holistic well-being, the overall, the emotional health of the person that's doing it, and that really bespoke nature of any weight loss plan. Is it the right thing for the person standing in front of me? And it does seem to be a very much a kind of one-stop shop. It's a treatment plan. It is what it is. And it's not, I mean, you know, a lot comes up when you're losing weight.
Yeah.
And that
And a
also
lot.
needs to be taken into consideration. And I worry that there are, and increasingly I'm seeing in my own practice, people who think that they're doing something wrong because it's not working for them. Not
Yes.
that there's something wrong with it, or that there are other options. And I'm also working with people who, so they think that's the end of the road for them. And that's horrible. That's a terrible place to be. But I'm also working with people that are taking Monjaro, but they're having to seek me out or Heidi out as well to
Yeah.
get that wraparound. And it is kind of infuriating when you know that our weight loss is safer, faster, tastes better,
All the
and all
things.
of those other things as well. Because it's like, we're an option. We've been here all along, and we still very much are.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? I was saying to Nell when we were kind of talking about how that anti-diet culture and diet culture have kind of merged into one. And I was saying it's really similar to the 2000s, where some of you might remember we had like The Biggest Loser on TV, and we also had Health at Every Side, Body Positivity really ramping up on socials,
Mm.
and they were kind of both existing at the same time. And it was almost like two extremes pulling but also merging, and it kind of feels like GLP-1 has created a similar kind of environment, and
Yes, where
it's
it's
become
pitching,
confusing.
absolutely pitching one against the other. There was all
Yeah.
sorts of problematic Channel 4 programs of super skin and skinny and super
Oh,
sized,
all
and
of those.
going head to head, and the constant feeling of judgment, and the not being able to exist in a bigger body. It's not about being that, but that is the culture that we're moving towards. It is about being thin, the thinnest that you can be. And there seems to
Yes.
be a real shift away from health and well-being into a kind of almost competitive. And what you're seeing on the red carpets recently is worrisome.
Yeah, it's
It's a
kind of almost
race
like
to the
the
bottom.
only reason to lose weight is aesthetics. There's no health benefit, there's no
And also
well-being
a lot of people
benefit.
losing weight that didn't necessarily need to lose weight.
Yeah.
That weight is a subjective choice rather than a marker of health and well-being, and also sanity.
Yeah,
That
and also that it's so results driven on one kind of like just the weight. So you are successful only if you hit these weight loss goals. There is no other kind of marker for it, no other, nothing else you're kind of measuring. How are you feeling?
Because
What
it's
other
not
things are
done for the
improving?
individual,
That's not
because
in
it's
the
a one stop,
conversation.
it's a one size fits all kind of, for want of a
Yeah.
probably a better phrase, but quite a funny one. The thing about the sanity comment is also that people always make assumptions about why you want to lose weight, and they don't necessarily, but they don't necessarily respect or accept boundaries around wanting to improve your health. And the wearing the clothes, or the looking a certain way, is kind of a side effect of. It's become a kind of race to the bottom in the assumptions about people's motivation. And it is worrying that people that don't necessarily need to lose weight want to lose weight, because the narrative is shifting towards you have to. That's all we're doing here. And what that's also doing, though, and I think that's why a lot of GLP-1 medications are dominating the conversation right now, is it's also taking for granted that the weight loss process, the fat burning stage, the actual process of losing weight, is all it is.
Yeah.
It's not about what happens after. It's about the weight loss, the diet. It is, and that is a real, there is no off ramp there.
Yeah, and there's
And
no talk
just like
about
anything, just like the
lifestyle
one-to-one
changes.
diet, they'll have some people doing it brilliantly, and you'll have some people doing it terribly badly.
All
But
things.
where is the stopgap? Where is the
Yeah.
framework to prevent people doing it badly? And that's where it's a real honor that people would want to work with us alongside that, because they understand the difference that you make, and they appreciate that, they can feel that happening, because stabilization and long-term maintenance, that long-term habit change, looking after someone's emotional health as things become apparent, things you don't even know when you start losing weight, is a really important kind of safety net.
Yeah, exactly. And having a real person to reassure you as well, especially when, all those aesthetics and people losing weight quickly, it's in the media, it's in the zeitgeist, it's being fed to us all the time. If you are somebody that is just like, well, I'm getting my health improved, but I don't know if I can go that far. I don't know if I want to go that far. Someone to reassure you and be like, no, we were going to focus on you, what's best for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to compare yourself. You don't have to do it like that person. I'm here to guide you, to reassure you, to see the nuance in things and tailor it to you. That's what me and Nell are doing all the time with our
Yes, and
clients.
and oftentimes people don't know when to stop on any diet plan, because dieting becomes such a preoccupation that we kind of almost get stuck in it. So that it
Yeah.
can create a huge amount of confusion, really. But that wanting the results for sustainability and freedom around food and your emotional well-being, and having another set of eyes on that long-term maintenance, instead of the only focus being on the harsh restriction. And I think a lot of us are coming to terms with, where is that balance of, it allows me to live my life, and that's why it's so attractive. And I can pretend that I'm not on a diet, but I can be magically losing weight.
Yeah.
And I think that is robbing people of a sense of pride in their achievement. There's a lot on my social media at the moment where there's always that element of naturally. I did it naturally. And it's loaded with so much judgment about what's the opposite of that then. You get it a lot when you have children. Did you
I was
give
going
birth?
to say there's such a correlation,
It
isn't
rings
there?
it rings all the same judgmental bells, doesn't it?
It
Did you do
really
it naturally?
does.
No, I did it unnaturally, Susan. What do you think? Everything, it's the language is shifting to be so loaded and so judgmental, so that you end up thinking that that is the only way of doing it. And it's not bad. GLP-1 is not a terrible thing, and we're not here
No.
slamming it. It's brought to the forefront something that we've been banging on about for years. It's shifted away from calorie counting, more towards protein. Muscle preservation is a huge trend. It's not a trend, it's been going for ages, but we're only,
We like to preserve our muscle, please.
strength training, metabolic health is a well-being focus. But from my experience so far down this road, is that people are having to seek that stuff out themselves, because
Yeah.
otherwise it is being marketed as the only option, and a magic pill, that you don't have to think about this anymore. And if you don't take responsibility for your journey, you miss out on so much pride and so much ability to stand strong in your achievements and say, yes, I did that. It took a bit of effort, but I bloody well did it. And I'm going to take all of, and that
Yeah.
is so important for long-term
Well,
habit
that's
change,
what I was going to
sustainability,
say.
self-esteem, self-worth, and all of these things are so closely intrinsically linked with how we got there and how we're going to get back and retreat from that space. Sustainability and mindset are replacing that harsh diet culture, and I should be replacing. I think we will see that return. Because I don't know about you, but I don't find a chat bot super supportive.
No, it's not reassuring, is it? And also, there's no, how can they understand the human experience? And there's so much nuance in the human experience and how it relates to you as an individual. And that is so
Yeah.
unique to each
And
of
I've been
us.
very lucky that a lot of my clients have been sharing with me their apps
Yeah.
and their processes because I'm
Yes.
fascinated and I want to learn. And I think a lot of the questions that it has raised with, smart, sensible people who are looking at their, their options and what they want to do and taking their health in hand is, how do I lose weight fast? That's always, top
Always.
priority.
Yeah.
And at what cost? So,
Yeah.
without losing muscle, energy, my confidence, with hormone health, taking that into consideration, without losing my mind.
Yes.
How do I lose weight fast
Well, and
without losing my
also
mind?
retain that sense of, like you said, that sense of achievement. Because if you're not careful, you put so much stock in GLP-1 or a diet per se, doing the job for you, that you say, well, all of that success, all of those things that changed positively for me, it wasn't me creating that. It was because of this thing. And
No, it really robs
actually,
people of their agency.
yeah, and
Exactly.
that, that's what we want people to, that's the thing we want people to grow over the time of losing weight. Grow your self-confidence, your self-trust, your
I
self-esteem, your
think that's
agency.
what it's doing there and why it's creating that way of thinking there's no other. What it's really doing is a lot of the marketing that I see it infers that it doesn't have to hurt to work, that this is the first thing that's ever come along, that you can abstain and it'll do it for you. And that is a lot of the things that the plan works, and you can relax and let the plan take over and with a lot of evidence, only with evidence-based
Yeah.
scientific clinically backed things you can kind of do that. The plan will do a lot of the work for you. I'm not against any of those things, but I also intimately know from everybody I've worked with is that it brings up a lot about who you are and your sense of self and why you were really doing this and where you want to go with it and how you're going to stay there, and the conversations only being limited to protein and strength training is not going to support, it's going to support some people, it's going to be adequate for some people, but for a lot of people and a lot of the people that use the one-to-one, it's not going to be enough. And that takes me back to my original thought process of, if I ever see anybody sitting sad and isolated like I used to, I feel like I have to go out there and sit next to them and say, are you all right? Do you need to
Yes,
talk
I
about
mean
it?
that I think I challenge you to find a consultant in the land, but I feel like both me and you are very passionate about this. The only reason I became a consultant, and I know you are the same, is to find the people like me that felt lost, felt overwhelmed, didn't know where to turn. In fact, I was probably at a very similar place that people find themselves now with all the noise of GLP-1, and I was coming off the back of all the noise of health at every size. You should accept yourself. You shouldn't want to lose weight. You shouldn't want to change your health whilst
Right.
experiencing very real health challenges that were a result of my weight. And kind of coming in with too much information, too much noise, too much going on, going like, oh my God, I need some guidance here. This
And
has become an
that's a
overwhelming.
really interesting point because I took, we hear a lot of people talking about food noise. I also don't know if it is food noise so much as diet culture noise.
Yeah.
The people that you hear talking about food noise are overwhelmingly women.
Yeah.
And it's not just food noise, it's the constant noise of you should be feeling this, you should be looking like this, you should be doing this, you should be able to do as a woman. Just
Yeah.
it's sort of the pressures of all of it. And I don't blame anybody for wanting to abstain from any of that. I think the off ramp, the exit strategy is something that I find really interesting because I think that is where we're seeing a massive kind of come back round,
Yeah.
and to using meal replacements with more of a focus on easy nutrition, always with the easy. This is the busy person's solution, isn't it? But understanding how to transition the bulk, big bulk of weight loss into something a more realistic lifestyle. And that's not to
Yes.
say that living off meal replacements is the long-term plan, but for a lot of people, I'm seeing at Monjaro kind of hit a wall
Yeah.
where when the BMI was really high, the weight loss was going to happen, but now it's going to take a little bit more effort, and the knowledge about nutrition, the how to actually implement it into my life, those things are not happening, and that must be really frustrating. So
Yeah.
that's where the coaching and the guidance can really kick in and
100%.
help.
And that conversation around sustainability versus aesthetics goals, health, and how you can work them together in your lifestyle when you're coming at it with, okay, how do I maintain a healthy weight or maintain this wherever you're at for yourself, forever a healthier place than you once were. And I always find that whenever I speak to a client whom we're thinking about transitioning more into that maintenance space and they go, I'm really, really worried about how to keep it off. And I go, we need to marry what's sustainable in your lifestyle with your goal. And it's that sustainability is a piece that we don't think about. All we can think about obsessively is this goal, this one thing that we kind of came into it for. And to have someone else to present that to you objectively and talk that through, and actually, what are you looking to achieve? Because it wasn't just a number on the scale, it wasn't just a dress size, there were some other things happening there. And have a chat with that, and then work out how to tweak that and the
Mm.
nuance that fits in your life is so invaluable. And I think that is what we offer in spades to our slimmers all the
And
time.
what we want to make very clear is we offer it to you if you're not, it's not an either or.
No, no, you get that.
That's kind of the point, is that we
Yeah.
are,
And it's kind of woven in throughout the whole process, right? It's not just like, oh, now we've done that, we'll move on.
yeah, everybody will be piecemealing together their own, scaffolding system around using weight loss medication. And we are very much one of the options to be woven into that tapestry of support. And it's so much more than weight loss, and also beyond the weight. So, stabilization and learning those skills. And it is a very interesting and big conversation. Will people regain the weight? What about body image? What is happening with, and the fashion? People are deeply confused by social media. And it is very, 1 minute we're doing glucose hacks, and the next minute we're fiber maxing, and we're a cortisol
And then
belly,
the
and we're
fear
biohacking,
setting
and the,
as
the
well,
lingo
because,
is
you know.
off the charts. But coaching, mindset, habit change, and the identity shift. I think that's the thing that I'm really seeing lacking, and the bit that I'm really really good at and that we're very passionate about, is that the identity shift and unpacking that with somebody. If you don't do the heavy lifting there, you can lose all the weight,
Yeah.
and you can be left in a very vulnerable position. And also, I think with a neon sign, what we really want to make clear is, if you're done with the aim just being as thin as possible, if
Yeah.
if the scales are falling and that's just not where you're at, and you don't know how to transition that into your real
Yeah, or
life,
pedal backwards, or
you
where
don't
do I go now?
yeah, you don't have to be as thin as you can possibly. The exit ramp is there. You can figure out a way forward if what you've done is found your equilibrium. You're happy where you're at, and the real work starts in kind of figuring that bit out. So
Yeah.
accountability, education. I'm going to let you finish off because I'm going to go and get the door.
Oh, we were just going to say that it doesn't have to be either or. All of this conversation is this should be happening at the same time. So, as you know, we represent the one-to-one diet by Cambridge Weight Plan. We've been around for 42 years and we are a science-backed plan. You can do us independently of other weight loss programs, but you can also be using our products, our support, our plan alongside your GLP-1 to really make everything work for you. So whilst we're talking about GLP-1 and some of the challenges, we are also here to support you should you want to lose weight completely with the plan or alongside a GLP-1. So we would love to know your thoughts about this. Have you tried the weight loss drugs? Have you tried the one-to-one diet by Cambridge Weight Plan? Are you completely overwhelmed? Let us know in the comments. You can always get in touch with either me or Nell. The contact details are always in the description box below. We are happy to chat through what the diet that we offer is, what the support we offer is, how that can work for you, and answer any of your questions. We will try and come back here in a few weeks' time and see you again. And have a lovely rest of your day, and we will see you very soon. Goodbye. Oh, she's
Bye.
back. You could come back to say goodbye. Just
That's all
in
right.
time. Look at that.
It's very nice to
Perfect
have a
timing.
chat. And
Perfect
it's very nice
timing.
to see you, Heidi. And it's
Yes,
very nice to
lovely
see
to
from
see
you,
you. I was
everybody.
just telling them, come here with us. We're nice.
Yeah, come and have a cuddle. We'll talk it out. We'll make a plan. It'll work. It'll be all right. But also, what do you want us to talk about? We're very happy to be here,
Oh
and
yeah,
we're very
that's
happy
good.
to chat about anything you want to talk about. So we threw a lot at the wall there. See what sticks, what resonates. Tell us in the comments, message us on our social media. We want to keep the conversation
Yeah.
current. And we're here for you in whatever shape or form.
Yes, we will never leave because you keep us here because we love you.